a 3, a 2. Welcome home, Raiders. This week, patch 5.4 release date was announced. We'll tell you when. Is an item squish in our future? And we have an interview with lead encounter designer Ian Hazzikostas and so much more. This is Convert to Raid number 109.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
From the Convert to Raid Command Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, today is August, 25th? This month is flying by. And it is now 11:17 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane, your host of the show. I'm also called Zug around Airy Peak, US, and I'm raiding with my Resto Druid. Yes, we were back. We were back in action last week. And as always, the players are here. Let's go to beautiful Boston, Beantown, to our good friend and compadre from Convert to Raid 2, Darius. Hello.
Hello. I'm not even going to say much. I've heard some really good stuff about this fortune cookie, so let's just go right to that.
Oh, wow. All right, we're going straight. I heard it had some hair on it. That's what I heard. But let's go to Hollyweird, California, to our Raging Mage, Coltrane. Welcome back.
Fortune cookie say.
Oh, boy.
Seeing an email from Hearthstone makes anyone's day better?
Is that's like beta?
Like
but it's
beta?
Beta?
Huh?
You said you had some hair on it. That was horrible. That was horrible.
I think, can we go back to my introduction?
Yeah. Let's go back to Darius. Let's talk to Darius some more. Darius!
Come on. I told you it had some hair on it.
That wasn't even kind of funny.
0 out of 10, 1 out of 10.
I'm
Not
seeing
want.
100 out of 10 bongos on that.
0.5 out of 10. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Look out.
Better?
You go away on vacation, and this is what you come up with. We gave you extra time to think about it.
It's relevant. It's relevant.
And I want to kind of
I agree with that. I want my money back.
Oh, jeez.
And I want to call you out for last week for giving Derevka that stupid fortune cookie
That's right.
last week. What a
Oh,
jerk.
my God.
Sends him a fortune cookie in a box with a terrible fortune. Terrible stuff.
Gets the people going.
How you doing, man? Coltrane, welcome back.
Thank you.
How was
Thank
your-
you.
how was
I
your
was in
vacation?
beautiful Oregon,
Yeah.
and that is like God's country. That place is unbelievable.
It really is.
Oh my gosh. The lady train and I were like, we need to buy a house here. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's green, lush place,
Oh, yeah.
and just fantastic. And you were staying close to wine country.
We were. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we're on this place, and there was like, 5 acres of land, and it was like this farm, and it was like beautiful.
Was it a B&B? A bed and
No,
breakfast?
it was not in B, it was in C.
No.
Kalaskas?
No, was it a B&B, a bed and breakfast?
Oh, no. We were staying with a friend, relative.
Ah, gotcha.
And they got this nice place out there, and
Cool.
and it was unbelievable. So I highly recommend Oregon. Although we were told that like the weather's not usually this nice. So, but it was gorgeous.
But that's what they tell everybody from California.
Yeah, I think they don't want anyone to move there.
No, they don't.
That's the trick.
Exactly.
Why would they? Why
Right.
would they do that? So,
But it was unbelievable, man.
cool. Well, welcome back. Glad to
Thank
have you on the show. Fortune cookie aside, glad to have you on the show.
I warned you. I gave you a pre-warning.
Right, you did. You did say that it
Didn't
had
warn
some hair
enough.
on it. No, you did not. All right, let's do a quick week in WoW type of thing. Darius, what's been going on with you?
I've been raiding, killing some bosses. We lost a tank on my raid team. Luckily, we picked one up by the next raid lockout. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been obviously playing a lot of Hearthstone. It's been a tough week for WoW, though, with Saints Row 4 and the new Splinter Cell coming out and PAX next week. My time has been has been mostly devoted to those things. So WoW
Yeah.
is kind of taking a backseat right now.
Well, and we should talk about this because next week we are going to try to do a show from PAX. Both you and I are going to be going. Coltrane, you're going to be back in LA. That's totally cool. We'll try to get the whole hookup and have PAX in the background somehow. And yeah, so I'm bringing all of my equipment. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
You guys went last year, right?
Darius
I
did.
did. Yeah, I've been going the last 5 years. Every PAX I go to
Wow.
and help do it. But I think we'll be able to have a show. It might be a little noisy and a little short, but I think we can have a show same time, right?
Yeah. As long as we have it at this time, I don't think we'll have too many issues. However, we have got to kind of move along with that show, I think, because we've got stuff to do. Darius, you and I are both working the event.
Yes,
We're going to be in the. If you guys are going out to PAX, we're going to be in the PC3 play area. And
Well, you'll be working. I'll be managing you.
oh,
which
right.
means I'll be sitting there watching.
And here's
I like that.
Here's
So
the way I'm going to be.
Darius is Pat's boss.
That's right.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Clean
And
the
so-
toilets, Pat.
And so,
Wanna hear you say that.
and so here's the way it's gonna go down. Darius is gonna say, move this stuff over here, and I'll be like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Hook this up, no problem. And then somebody will go, yeah, we have a problem with some of the software on this PC, or we have an issue with this PC. I'll be like, Darius, get over here.
That's right.
I have no idea what's going on. So
I
should
need
be
an
fun.
adult.
Darius, you gotta order him around like crazy.
I got a whole list.
he
of
does
stuff
that
that's really-
anyway. He does
I
that
just made
anyway.
stuff up. It's awful.
That's right.
All the time. All the
You're
time.
my brother. Come on. You're my brother.
So Colt, what have you been up to the last, week or so in WoW? What's been
Well,
going
I
on?
was in a hurry this morning, so I had to use my wife's deodorant. Not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I smell like a woman. Is that the song? Is that how it goes? But, in WoW. Excuse me. I apologize. I've been spending a lot of time with the old monk, the old warlock, and the old mage. Because, I might as well bring them all together. Mages, assemble! All right.
Now that they're all
now
here.
that they're here. All right, good.
They're probably still sleeping. They're
Right.
exhausted from having to push 3 buttons.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I thought we were over that. You said that was about elemental shamans.
Yeah,
no,
but they
that's
didn't-
4 buttons. 4
They
buttons.
didn't really seem to care when I made fun of them. So
Oh, my goodness. That's because mages got a bad rap for years. All right,
That's right.
anyway.
I got nothing
fellow-
from Hunters either. Hunters couldn't figure out how to spell grandpa.
Oh, my
So-
God. All right, now listen up. My fellow mage brethren. Here's the deal, Lucille.
Yeah.
It's looking like we might need to dust off the old arcane
Ooh.
for 5.4.
Ooh.
Yeah, especially with that set bonus. Arcane's looking pretty sweet. They're making a nice change to Rune of Power where they were making it larger. So we are a little bit more mobile.
So you can take one step more.
Yes. I gotta admit, I personally hate the level 90 mage talents, and the only reason is this: I have to actually stop playing my character, stop having fun for 4 seconds. Advocate. I have to stop playing and just stand there. That's
Right.
not fun to me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm grumble level 90 mage talents. Anyway. So fire got a bit of a nerf with combustion. What I'm reading on the PTR, and a lot of people are saying that it's not that bad, even though it looks bad. But a lot of people are saying it's not that bad. And Frost is still looking good. Frost has
Good.
been amazing this expansion. It's come into the forefront. For years, Frost has strictly been PvP. But Frost is even looking more. So top specs, what I'm seeing though, everyone's really talking about Arcane. So Arcane, Frost, and then Fire maybe. So there's still some balancing. We're still on the PTR. We're still tweaking numbers and all that stuff's going to change. But I don't know, man. Might be time to break out that old Arcane again. So that's good.
Isn't this
Cool.
exactly what you want for your class, though? You want it every patch to be interesting and have to think about it instead of fire.
Well, I mean, you're
Right.
right. The problem with Fire now is that you have to have at least 37% crit unbuffed, self-buffed crit, to make Fire applicable because it requires so much crit, in order to be effective as Fire. So that's kind of crazy. So yes, Fire's great and it scales really well with gear because the more crit you get. But like for me, like I'm playing Frost right now. I want to do Fire, but my crit's so low. I got to stay with Frost. You know what I mean? And a lot of us are going to go where the numbers go. So whatever spec is rocking and rolling, sometimes for some players, that's where they're going to go.
Yeah.
And that's where because it's all about the deeps, baby.
Well, and and that's, you could say that about any class ever.
Exactly.
I mean, they just go where the numbers go. So like I just leveled up my shaman to level 90. And Resto's getting a big boost for 5-4. We'll see. Well, hopefully the numbers will be a lot better in 5-4.
They're getting
shaman.
a big boost. Resto's looking great.
Yeah, well, it usually happens that the last part of the expansion is Resto Shaman's like heyday, right? So now, so then they go, you haven't been playing your shaman enough, so let's make sure you play your shaman. Okay,
but
all right.
I would say, though, that for the first time that I've seen in an expansion, Resto Shamans were actually pretty strong at the beginning of this expansion. You know, usually
and then they tailed off like right away.
Right, that's true. But the fact that they were pretty strong up top, I thought was great. Because usually, like you're saying, Resto Shamans, they're real weak at the top, and then eventually they pick it up. But
Right.
But I was pretty impressed with them this first time out. But yeah, they're getting some nice buffs.
Yep.
So into 5-4.
So I was doing some leveling, and this is actually or gear leveling, I should say, and kind of interesting stuff because I've been trying to figure out how much time it's going to take me to get from level 90 to getting ready for Siege of Orgrimmar, right? And so that's been kind of like my big push over the last week or so. Mm-hmm. And really, it hasn't been that bad. It took a week to get up into item level 470, which means that you can do Heart of Fear and Toes and stuff like that. It took about a week, maybe a little bit more to get into that. And then once that hit, I was into 480 pretty much right away. And so I was able to I'm already doing Tot. I'm already doing Tot 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm getting gear that way. I'm sitting at about 482, not getting the drops that I want.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I hear you, man. I got the same problem with Walk Fu. And I did just say Walk Fu. We will
Walk Fu. Yeah.
I noticed. I did a lot of that on my monk, and I think what makes it hurt more is you do all the, Mogashan and Toes and stuff, and loot drops like candy in there.
Right.
With the increased drop rates, then you coin and you get something almost every coin. And then you get into Tot and you're like, where'd the loot go?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I've run through all 4 wings. I think I've gotten like 2 pieces of gear.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what the heck? I keep getting spoils of the Thunder King. Like, I'm not interested in your spoils, Thunder King. Enough. Give me some loot.
Although I did get 92 gold out of one of those things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, what is this? I like critted on the spoils.
That's right. That's some serious crit on the spoils.
Yes.
Holy cow.
And by the way, I'm not going to bring this up as a special section right now because it wasn't really all of the Asparagus initiative on last week. But we did actually get together. A bunch of us got together kind of last minute and did a little pug run for Throne of Thunder. And we got up to Megara, and it felt good to have the team back. It felt most of the team back.
That's great.
I think we had to pick up like a few different people, and I know that we're going to have to, have some people fill in because we have people changing times, and some people can't make it. And like Mega, he's busy. Colt, you're busy a lot of the time, and Petunia had to switch tunes and blah blah blah. And so we're like doing this big rigmarole, trying to figure out how we can make it work. But at least we got most of the team back together again, and we're able to do it. And it felt good.
Did you just say Rignaros is on the team?
What? Yes, Rignaros is on the team.
That's
Riggs
amazing.
is on the team. He just quit Blood Legion and just came right over.
I get it. I totally get it.
He heard the call. We needed a tank.
I get it. I get it.
So Riggs is over now.
That's awesome.
No, he's not. All right. Let's see. Anything else going on with stuff that we need to talk about before we get into news?
I think we're good.
All right, let's do it.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with raiding news around the World of Warcraft. And we will have, for you folks, a an interview with lead encounter designer Ian Hazzikostas, our very good friend. Now that he's been on a few times, now I can say very good friend. We've exchanged numbers. No, we haven't.
Right, you got Facebook.
That's right.
You poke him pretty often. He pokes you back.
Hey!
Hey, now settle down. Settle down.
It made the interview really awkward, let me tell you.
And this time around, Darius hopped in on the interview as well. Really great to have you along, Darius.
I did. I crashed that party.
You did, and we will have the full audio after the news section. Just letting you know. Now, Darius, Colt, was there anything in particular about that interview, or actually, any of the interviews that we've seen so far that have, struck you as being cool, different types of news things that we've seen before?
One thing real quick that struck me that I thought was kind of cool is there were a lot of fears about flex rating in regards to LFR. A lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, is Flex going to replace LFR? Is this where Blizzard is headed? And Ian Hazzikostas, the Watcher, said, no, never. LFR is here to stay, and it will be here forever. So there's nothing to worry about. Flex is not going to replace LFR at all. There will still be LFR, there will be Flex, and there will be normal and heroic ratings. So I think that's a great thing because I know a lot of people with schedules, LFR is their only option. So I would rather that people get to see this content than not.
Right.
So very exciting stuff there in regards for LFR Raiders.
And they're still trying to incentivize group content, like tackling stuff with a group, with a pre-made group, so that we can continue that community feel, so that we can kind of maybe dip back into the Wrath days where you had to go looking for everybody piece by piece to do a dungeon together, if you remember those days. And so trying to maybe get a little bit of that flavor without, and yet still have the opportunity to, if you can't find people, you can do looking for raid, looking for dungeon, and all that kind of stuff, and be just fine.
Brand Nagus in the chat room just asked, do you guys think that all normal raids are eventually going to be Flex?
I think he mentioned that in the interview too.
Yeah, he does mention that in the interview, and I think it's a maybe. That maybe they can do some sort of that they're probably going to be looking at that, but not for heroics, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see exactly what comes of it. I don't know exactly how strongly they'll be looking into changing that right away. I think they need to look at the numbers, how they pan out with Flex Raid, and see if that makes sense. And if it does, great. And if not, that's fine too.
I'll tell you one quick thing I'm excited about with Flex Raiding. I was talking to Mega, and he was mentioning about that they're going to have a Flex Raid team like Wednesday nights, like Thursday nights. And what's kind of cool is he's like, yeah, if you can make it, great. If not, no big deal. Like if you got to work late and can't make it, great. And that's the beauty of Flex. I can show up, raid, get some loot.
Yep.
And if I can't make it Thursday night, that's A-okay. So I think that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, he did mention something kind of on that vein. He mentioned that if you were to bring 10 healers and 2 tanks, you're still going to you're going to need the correct, makeup of characters for healers and DPS and tanks and whatnot. And I think some people they're so excited about Flex, but they're kind of overlooking that fact that if you've got 10 friends and you're all healers, you're still not going to be able to do Flex, and you're still not going to be able to do normals and whatnot.
Right.
You're going to have the correct thing. So if one of your tanks can't make it that night, you still have to find another tank.
Yeah. So I mean, you will need to, with the Flex Raid system, you'll still need 2 tanks. You'll still need the appropriate number of healers for how many DPS you have, whatever that is for your particular group, which he doesn't say, but he says there's no real magic number. But if you have 16 people and only 2 healers, that might not work out so well.
Well, I don't know, but Elite Noob CTR just said, well, if you have 10 discs priests, then you should be fine, right?
Yeah. You're fine.
That's true. That's
the exception.
I didn't ask him that. I should have asked him that question about disc priests, because I am still just kind of as a healer that is not a disc priest. I'm kind of angry about Disc Priest, this expansion, because you're taking all my numbers.
But they're getting a little bit of a nerf in 5.4,
okay.
right?
We still love you, though. I mean, it's cute when a druid tries to heal.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, that was right in the groin. Oh.
It's like, oh, look at that Druid in the corner. What's he doing? Oh, he's shaking his arm. Oh, he's a tree.
You got me right in the trunk. Ooh.
Right in the trunk.
Oh, not
Got
good.
bark. Big time. I
gotta put my root down, if you know what I mean.
Your sap is showing. You gotta
Oh,
be
boy.
careful. Sap it out.
Oh boy. All right. So we'll have that. Oh geez. So we'll have that interview after we get through the news. The biggest news of the week, of course, is about pet battles. No, it's actually about
What?
Siege of Orgrimmar. Patch 5.4 is going to be dropping September 10th. Woo! So,
Yay!
oh, you want big applause?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Big applause.
This means we don't have to miss the first week while we're at PAX.
That's true. So, yes, I'm actually kind of relieved.
I called Blizzard a bunch of times. Was like, you can't do this. You can't do this to me.
And
Can't do it.
they said,
It
"Who
works."
are you? Who is this person?"
Yeah, they hung up on you immediately. Crank collar.
That's right. So they moved it back a couple of weeks. And Darius, do you think that it had to do with the raid testing or classes, or what do you think? What do you think kind of pushed them back a couple of weeks?
I mean, it's their decision. It could have been anything and nothing at all. But, you know, I do think some of the raid testing, because they were throwing a lot of stuff out there real quick. I mean, they did 8, I think, 25-man bosses last week. They did 4 a day or something like that.
Mhm.
And, you know, maybe they saw something they just didn't like. And again, it didn't even have to be big, just enough to make them want to push it back.
Right.
And I do think some of the balancing stuff came out a little quick.
Like hunters.
Yeah, we did see some notes this week. More balancing stuff that obviously they didn't like.
I saw a great tweet from Solar Flare, who's actually in our chat room, and he said, "Hey, look, it's great. Hunters get a new mount in 5.4," and it was a picture of a bench.
I saw that.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's that. You know, that kind of right now, especially with hunters are very confused. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's not a happy place right now. It's a land of confusion for hunters.
Do you not feel ready? Is your readiness not there anymore?
Well, they didn't have readiness to release this patch until September 10th. That's for sure.
This is awful.
So, and I really do think that hunters were one of the major factors for why they pushed it back, because they're not in a happy place right now on the PTR, or not in a happy enough place right now.
You think they pushed the entire patch because of hunters?
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, I also play a hunter.
They forgot about hunters, and they went to push the patch, and they're like, "Oh, wait."
They went, "Oh wait, hold on a sec. There's this whole forums over here that's blowing up, and it's just
on
all about
fire
hunters."
right
Yeah, it was craziness. So
Hunters need a better spokesperson now that Frostheim.
yeah,
They need a
yeah. And I don't know. Did we mention that on the show about Frostheim? That
Yeah,
he
weeks ago.
stopped his blogging efforts, and Frost, we love you. You blew up Colt's brain when you were
Right.
on the show.
Huh?
He's still recovering. As
I
you
don't
can-
know what's going on.
As you could tell.
I black out when I hear Frostheim. I hear that, whoa,
It's his trigger word.
oh my God, blacked out. What happened? I wet my pants again.
Oh no. Oh no.
I just peed myself. Oh.
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's people like Frostheim, and there are others that are big into all the theory crafting, and this is important. They're really kind of messing with them right now. Ghost Crawler, you jerk!
You crazy crab, you.
Right,
Crabby.
right. And there was a big huge blog on the World of Warcraft site about, you know, Siege of Orgrimmar now coming out on September 10th. And one of the things that we have not covered yet is about gear, and that Justice and Valor are not going to be converted in patch 5.4, but that we're not going to actually have any Valor gear. We're not going to there's no Valor gear for 5.4.
What?
I know you won't be able to buy gear for Valor in 5.4. Well, I mean, you'd be able to buy the old stuff.
I listened to a really good interview with Ian, where he actually answered a question on that.
Yeah.
We should play that at the end of the show.
Well, we'll play that at the end of the news.
Oh, even better. Okay.
I think we have the rights to it since we're in it.
I don't know.
Right.
But you did. And the article that Blizzard put up is really good about the changes in Siege of Orgrimmar. You should check it out. Everyone should check it out. It's a really good synopsis of what's going on and what you need to do, to get into.
Yeah. And there's also a thing on gearing for 5.4 for Siege of Orgrimmar. They have got a lot of information right now on the World of Warcraft website where you can find out exactly what to do. And
well, here's a question.
Yeah,
go ahead. No, finish your sentence. Sorry.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, Oak in our chat room just brought up something. He says, well, that's kind of lame. I don't want to sit Valor capped till 5.4. So my question to you guys is this. What can a player do who's Valor capped? What can they do with all that extra Valor?
Upgrades.
Besides just sit?
Yeah, upgrade your gear.
Upgrades for everybody. It's the people's upgrade right now.
What's up?
Everybody's gonna have double upgraded loot because it's only gonna cost 250 Valor to upgrade 4 item levels, right? So 500 per piece, essentially, because you can double upgrade.
Then you've got 16 pieces, and say on average 1 piece of loot a week from LFR, normals, or flex or whatever. I mean, you can spend the 500 easily.
Right. And, the big push is going to be going over to the Timeless Isles anyway.
Yes.
So that's where a bunch of loot is. That's where, some new pets and mounts and other things are going to be. And don't forget about those bloody coins that can make everybody angry at you.
And you can kill them.
Yeah. And they can kill you.
They can kill you.
What?
Yeah.
In my case, that's what's going to happen. Use it, and then everybody's going to just kill me.
Right.
Jerks.
Well, that's where all the action's going to be is Timeless Isle.
Right.
But
right. Let's move it along. We've got some other stuff that we need to cover as well. Now, friend of the show, Olivia Grace, she was in Germany hanging out with sweaty, stinky European nerds over at Gamescom.
Which are exactly like sweaty, stinky American nerds.
Except with an accent.
Except they have an accent.
And they smell a little bit more like ginger. But other than that, yes.
Right. Of course. And she had actually a couple of cool reports over on WoW Insider. And one of them was about Item Squish. And she talked with Corey Stockton and Tom Chilton from Blizzard. And they said that it's probably going to happen next expansion. Some sort of item squish.
Now, can you explain item squish for those that don't know?
Darius, can you explain item squish for?
Yeah, there'll be a vendor that you can go to, and you stick your wand in it or your staff, and he'll just make it smaller. So you can carry 2 instead of 1.
Oh, I can dual wield staves now?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, great.
No, it's
what they're looking to do is they're looking at. They think the numbers are out of control. You pick up a new chess piece and it's got 10,000 stamina on it and 50,000 crit. And after a while, those numbers start to have less meaning. Everybody likes big DPS numbers. Everyone likes, doing a million DPS on AoE trash and stuff like that. But the numbers kind of get out of control. And, when you're looking at these huge numbers go across your screen and your gear's got crazy numbers on it, they want to lower that and just kind of hone it back in and make it more reasonable. That's
right.
it.
Right. So, I mean, there's a couple of ways that they can do that. They can do mega damage, right? So they can say, it hit for such and such K or such and such M and make you feel like you're still very powerful. Or they can shrink all the numbers down kind of across expansions and stuff like that. It won't necessarily do anything to it. It shouldn't do anything to your ability to solo dungeons or, really hit the boss hard. But it's just going to look different, right? So you can either shrink down the numbers so that you're doing reasonable numbers for whatever their system can handle, or you're doing mega damage, which again just kind of shrinks down those numbers to a more manageable size for the calculations they need to do.
Hey, Zuggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Huh.
So we got the actual, like, what they said here, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you start up some music?
Oh, okay.
You play Tom Chilton, I'll play Corey Stockton.
Okay. I think I'll play. There we go. No,
Wow,
no,
these are
not
pretty
that one.
smooth.
Not that
Wow,
one. Not that one.
Devs.
Not that one. Let's do. Well, crap. I mean, you put me on the spot here,
That's
buddy.
right. This one's about,
let's do-
baby. We
you
gotta
want-
go.
What is
all right.
happening?
No, that's not the right music at all. That's from CTR2,
Just
our other
play
program.
something.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll play Darius'
There we
favorite
go.
song.
All right, so here's a question. Darius, why don't you ask Tom Chilton? Darius, you be Olivia Grace,
Okay.
and you're going to ask Tom Chilton and Corey Stockton this question. Go, Darius, go. This is great improv.
Yeah,
There's no question.
no, there isn't.
Just ask a question.
What? Okay. Well, what do you think of Item Squish? What is it? What do you think it's gonna solve going forward, Tom?
If we don't do the item squish, it's going to require a lot of re-engineering of our combat code to actually support bigger numbers. We're getting really close to the point where the code can't.
Yeah, the code can't compile the numbers.
Yeah, it can't compile the numbers. So we were testing the item squish internally with the expansion, and I think it's a good time to launch it. Would be right before the next expansion, so people are already used to it by the time the expansion launches. That's it. So that's the current
You
plan.
just wanted to do the Corey Stockton heat test.
That was awful. That was great. That was horrible. What are you talking about?
Get the people going.
So
How did I get roped into that?
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Gotta be on your toes, buddy.
How did we both get roped into that? Way to go, Cole.
love it.
Thanks a lot.
But it's interesting that they're thinking about doing this maybe before the next expansion.
Well, I think we've seen that before. I mean,
Tail end.
I think a lot of the, like, when they switched to hunters again, when they screwed with hunters, that was I think it was the world patch before the expansion launch when they switched from mana to focus. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. And so by the time the expansion hit, hunters were already kind of used to focus. Kind of. And they've done that before with other aspects of the game as well, where they introduce it like right at the end. Like LFD was another one they introduced right at the last patch, I think, or whatever. And so then they said, here you go. Or LFR with Cataclysm stuff.
Right.
Dragon Soul. They said, here you go. This is what's happening in the next expansion.
Yeah.
Have
Right.
fun. So
I think that's a good thing. I think the item squish, and I think we can all, if we all take a step back,
Yeah.
as much as we love doing 1 million damage, it's going to start getting ridiculous. And like Darius was saying, you're going to have stats of like 10,000 stamina. Like, well, I've got an 8,962 stam versus 11,000. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
So I think we all knew that this was coming at some point. You can't have, like, when you hit something, your entire screen is covered in a huge number.
right.
Like when you crit,
It's
that's
just
just crazy.
It's just all green all the way across your screen. It has nowhere else to go. It's just,
Right.
Yeah. So would you rather have, Coltrane, would you rather have a mega damage approach, or would you rather have a let's shrink down the numbers entirely?
Personally, and I know some people may not like this, I would rather shrink down the numbers, and I think the best time to do that is in an expansion, especially if they're doing it if they do it at the tail end, which is what they're saying that they're going to do. That's going to feel really like, oh my gosh, like I used to hit for 1 million, and now I'm hitting for 3,000. But a new expansion, it's like everything's new. It's new gear, it's new zones, it's new everything, new numbers. That's when I feel like players are accepting of new ideas and new things.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of goes down easier, like in a new expansion.
Goes down easier.
It
Like-
does. Because
like
everything's
like
new.
a summer morning.
That's right. Nice summer morning. So it's like it's nice and it's sweet because it's all new and fresh.
Right.
But like at the end of an expansion, people are used to 1 million damage. So I don't know. Mega is, I don't really like Mega too much. I'd rather, let's just lower the numbers. People get used to it and go from there. But I recommend that they would start it actually in the new expansion, not before, but that's kind of not what they're doing.
Sure. Darius, do you have an opinion on?
I never have opinions on anything.
Send
I
all
agree
your
with-
bat guano to Grandpa.
Yeah,
over on
I
your
agree with
end.
the train. And I don't want to see 13M on my damage or my
Yeah.
healing or anything like that. And I also don't want to see ridiculous out of control numbers. I'm fine with honing it back in because it's all relative. I'm doing 200k DPS in this expansion, but if I'm only doing 60k next expansion, and that's what everyone else is doing, it's relative. It's not going to matter.
Right. Well, that to me just kind of shows the age of the game, right? So, I mean, we're seeing these huge numbers. We're seeing other signs of the age of the game, like I know that Ghostcrawler has been tweeting a lot about button bloat, about there being too many abilities for pretty much every class. I mean, there are a lot of abilities out there, and they're mostly situational. But,
yes.
Like I know hunters, shaman, druids have a lot of abilities that they don't necessarily use all the time. Mages, you have, arcane mages,
button.
you have
How
like
dare
3 or
you.
4
They have
buttons.
a button.
And priests only smite now, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it. We just have one button that says smite in the middle of our screen.
Yep, that's all you need, jerks.
I will say, though, there is some truth. Like, I think the worst thing of this is like Star Wars, the Old Republic.
Yeah.
There's like 50 abilities like that you use as a character. Like your entire bars are filled up. And there's a lot of players, like warlocks and all that stuff, where look at their UI. This thing's covered in abilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in reality, when you look at your particular class, there's only certain ones that you're using, and there's some that you just have, for later
For
or if something
flavor or
happens.
something. I don't know.
Right. So, I mean, personally, less abilities, I think is a good thing. And here's why. That means there's more time of you looking at the screen, not necessarily at your bars.
Right.
Look, a lot of us will keybind a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? But if you don't have like some crazy Naga or some kind of crazy with buttons, you're finding yourself looking at the bars or you're clicking versus looking at the action.
Right.
And for me, I want to be looking at the action.
Right.
So less abilities means more combat, more looking at your screen, focus on the fight, and less trying to find where this button is or this or that.
Yep. I totally agree.
Now, Darius,
Less
what were you saying
buttons.
about Naga?
Oh,
I heard you were a Naga fiend.
So here's the
Yeah.
deal. I got myself a left-handed Naga.
yeah, you
And-
did. Because
Yes.
they finally came out with it.
Right, so big applause,
Oh,
please.
there we go.
Yes, lefties assemble!
Right.
My fellow left-handed brethren, the glory of has given us a left-handed Naga, and at first, I freaked out.
You were.
freaked out.
I believe you chatted with me, and you were like, "I don't know if I can handle this."
It's insane because I'm
Right.
used to doing a mouse a certain way, and now it's all thumb action. You
Right.
know what I mean? And like I said, I don't have like hobbit hands, but it's like crazy. And I'm like fat fingering stuff, and I'm like, oh no! And I'm ice
Right.
blocking when I mean to cast Frostbolt. Let me tell you, that really hurts your DPS. I'm just going to say that right now. When you're encased in ice
Right.
and you're supposed to be burning something. But anyway,
That's tough.
I will say, just like everybody says, they said, Colt, just give it a week, maybe 2. And now I love the Naga. It's
Wow.
taken about a week or 2, but now I'm completely used to it,
Nice.
and it's changing my life. So big shout out to Razer and to all you fellow left-handed gamers. Finally, now if they can just do that for the Power Glove, then we'd be all set. They bring that back, and we're good.
Oh
We
man.
can fight Kevin Savage in Super Mario Brothers 3. Whatever that movie was.
Oh.
Nintendo Power, or what was that? Or they revealed Super Mario 3 at the end of the movie. That was a big deal back then. It was in the 80s.
God, I don't even know how to
The
respond
wizard,
to that.
yes,
I don't
the
even know how to
wizard.
respond to that.
The wizard. Did they stop off at a rest stop and there's a guy and he's got a power glove? He's like, power glove works every time. He was like the cocky guy with the power glove.
What did you see that over there? What's that over there? Oh, it's the rails. They're way
yeah,
over
yeah,
there.
we are off. We are off the rails.
I'm talking to my fellow lefties here. It's my brothers. I mean, we all get it. There's no left-handed power glove.
Sure.
Us lefties didn't
Sure.
growing up in the 80s.
Just for that.
That's my point.
All right,
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's very valid.
I'm gonna get back on the rails a little bit. I'm
Let's do it.
I'm gonna skip that other story that we had there, and I'm gonna go down to the other story that Olivia Grace actually brought up from Gamescom is that the character model rework is about 25% complete. About 25%. That's not bad. Character model rework. We know that they've been doing this for a while. Hopefully, they're stepping it up
I
a little
think
bit.
we've been wanting them to do it for a while.
They've talked about them doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Like the last, I don't know. Colt, what do you think?
I feel like
6
every
months?
time it comes up, it's someone putting words into their mouth, and they're just like, no, we're not working on that. And someone's like, that means you're working on it. All right, great.
Speaking of which, let's do the back and forth, Colt, again on this. And so Darius, you just
Darius?
here, I'll do this thing again.
Okay.
You just ask a question about character rework.
So, could you let us know, maybe what percentage you're at when it comes to the new model reworks?
20% maybe.
Yeah, 25%, maybe 25. That could be a safe number.
That's all we need. That's all we need, really.
That's pretty good.
That's all we need. That's
pretty good. Now, I will say, when you and I went to Blizz,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to
And
be serious.
We sat down with Corey Stockton.
no, we went to Blizz, and a certain Blizzard employee
Yeah.
said that they've seen these character models and they look
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's all they said.
That's it.
It was
That's
the
all they said.
custodian,
Right.
but he was at Blizzard, so he's a Blizzard employee.
Right. Right.
But he said that they look awesome.
He said, "Yeah, I was just mopping up the other day, and I saw."
And I was like, wait, mop? Like Missa Pandaria? Like, oh, so you're clearly working on Missa Pandaria.
right, right. So,
So that's good news. But
Right.
it's an interesting thing when they're talking about, because a lot of people identify with their characters so much. You
Right.
know, every single polygon, which is about 3 on the orc models and the human.
yeah,
But they identify with each thing. And if you log in one day and suddenly your character's completely changed, you're going to freak out.
right,
That's not going to be good.
Right.
So they're kind of talking about different ways that maybe they might update certain ones first. Like they might not do them all at once. Like they might update them through like maybe a patch cycle. Like they figure that might be better than having everybody just wait forever and then all of a sudden here's all
Well,
the new races.
and I think they are doing what they always do is they're trying to make sure that all of these characters are right before they release them, and this is what we've seen them do with gameplay, with encounters. Until they are happy with what they see, no matter what it is, they're not going to release something until it's what they consider to be right for release.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah, please take your time. Because I tell you, don't take too much time.
Right.
take some time. How's that? Take some
it's-
time with these.
It's a funny thing that they said that they have these like meetings like once a week where they look at the animations. You know, animations, look at the Pandaren.
Look, these guys are actually able to point instead of just,
Like their hands right
the whole
now
hand.
are like a glove. Right.
Right.
Like what they're saying. Like now they can have like individual finger movements.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're actually animated. Like the Pandaren, the animations of the Pandaren are insane compared to especially the human and the orc.
Right.
So
And
it's
the
kind of an
dwarf.
interesting thing where Corey Stockton was saying we're taking a lot of care with the animations, especially because, you add all that fidelity right where to help we want to keep the same animation. So their dances are obviously the same, but there's so much more stuff there to animate. And that has a danger of also it being very different, making the
Yeah.
characters look completely different. So they're trying to like still add all this extra stuff, but it still needs to feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It needs to feel familiar anyway. So I don't know. So Darius, when do you think, if they're 25% done now, what does that mean for when we might be able to see rollout on these bad boys?
Let's see. They first started mentioning this, 3 or 4 years ago? And
Yeah.
they're 25% done. So I'd say, 12 years from now?
So
Maybe?
Right.
so we're looking at 2025.
Yeah.
That's
Titan
not
will
bad.
have-
That's
That's not bad at all.
That's not. That's not bad.
We level 400.
Right.
Look for a
4,000. It'll be level 4,000 at that point. People would be
Yes.
like, seriously, Blizz? Let's go.
They got to have them that new expansion, man. That's got to be the new. That's got to be when they're going to do it. New expansion. They're not going to. They may not have a new race or anything, but I think to satisfy the people, a new character.
Right. Right. And do you guys have any particular favorite type of like race that you guys are looking forward to actually seeing in this new high fidelity, if you will?
Pandas.
Pandas.
Jeez.
I thought they already were. Weird.
Because by the time they release the
Weird.
new models, pandas will look old.
Right.
And they're like, why my panda looks terrible?
Right.
Oh, all right. All right.
I'm looking forward to dwarf, man. I've always liked dwarves. I think they always look cool. The little stocky little dudes. I'm really curious to see their new facial features. I mean, obviously orcs, but you kind of get a hint of that, like when you look at the garage.
Orcs, man. Those orcs have been in such a bad place for a long time.
They look really bad.
They look cheeseball.
And humans too, man. Humans.
The porn
race
stash
changed Coltrane back to a human. And
what?
Holy cow! Oh I didn't mention that.
No, you didn't. Why did you do that?
Well, I need the dance. I need to dance, baby. So I got Colt. He's no longer sniffing butts. He's back to human now.
Right.
And I was creating this human, and I'm like, well, I got like 4 options, and they're all terrible.
Right.
Looking at the face,
I've got either the porn stash,
or the porn stash,
or the corn. Just like goatee. No mustache.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And the eyes are weird. It's just such a lack of polygons, that I guess, we're used to now, especially the orcs. Holy cow.
Orcs are horrible.
They're really bad.
I mean, my hunter Zug was for the longest time. He was for like 4.5, 5 years, something like that, orc. And it was just the worst orc too. It was not even really cool looking at all. And so I feel for all the orcs out there, for sure. Oh, man. All right. So one last thing before we get to the Ian Hazzikostas interview.
Ooh.
Look out. Is that the Warcraft TCG, the actual TCG, not Hearthstone, is actually going to be going away. With their last set, they just released their last set, I believe, set 21. And this is the last set for the WoW TCG. And it's just kind of sad. And I don't know, Darius, do you think that this is because of Hearthstone, or?
I mean, the TCG has really run its course, and it is.
You're kind of the card guy. TCG, you're kind of the card guy. So have you done a lot of the TCG stuff, or?
I'd say a good part of it has to do with Hearthstone, though, because you don't want to cannibalize your own sales. You don't want to be trying to please the same audience in 2 different ways, because they're not gonna make a choice in that way.
Sure.
But TCG is difficult, and they're competing with a lot of other TCGs out there, and they were never as popular as some of the others. So if they can make the same amount of money off Hearthstone, and it's easier for them to develop,
right?
Then probably.
Yeah.
But what are people gonna do? Like when they're at BlizzCon, sitting at the tables. Are you going to have people across from each other on iPads?
There you go. That's
welcome to the future.
That's crazy.
That's it. That's what you're going to do.
Jeez.
But if you still have loot cards or whatever, you can still redeem those. And will there still be tournaments? Maybe. Possibly. But they're not going to be renewing the contract, so the TCG is just kind of going away. Sad.
I got to get that one pet, man. There's one on there that looks exactly like Mr. Magoops. One of those cubs. He looks identical to Mr. Magoops.
Is he solving cases?
It's probably
he's always solving cases. It's like the Night Saber, or I don't know what, but he's identical to Mr. Magoops. I got to get him quick.
He was getting mo-capped and everything at Blizzard. Mr. Magoops was a couple years ago, so
it's
probably him.
Wow. Look at that. Magoop. All right, with that, we are going to move along into the Ian Hazzikostas interview, where we talk about Siege of Orgrimmar, flex rating, Loot in 5.4, Proving Grounds, and more. So here it is right here. But we don't actually have it for you.
Riveting.
And that interview was so good.
Right.
Man, what a great interview. Holy cow.
Right.
I mean, he's a boxer guy. I expected him to be briefs. That's amazing. I thought he would be a brief man, but he's straight up boxers. That's good.
I asked a couple people. I asked a bunch of people what questions I should be asking him when I do the interview, and I'd say just about all of them said, ask if he's boxers or briefs.
Right.
Why do people want to know that?
Now we know. We know.
It's case is closed on that one. Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys in the chat room, if you guys want to check out the interview, or if you haven't yet already, it's on the front page of the Convert to Raid site. Don't go there right now. No. But you can go there after we get done with the rest of the show. We don't want to take you off that page, off of this page, the live show. But you can watch that directly after this show and check it out. I think that there was some good stuff that we brought up, and Interesting insights from Ian, as always.
Yeah, and the part where he talks about Deathwing coming back, I mean, that's...
Yeah,
Wow.
Man, I
that's...
wasn't expecting that.
That was surprising.
Nobody ever expected that. We thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I was most excited that he actually uses Fruit of a Loon. That's good to know. Sorry.
What is going on?
Sorry.
Oh, man.
This is when you think it's safe to go back in the water.
Sorry.
That
I
joke
really
came
like
back.
that joke.
What the hell? Oh, man. All right, let's go into...
I like
Some-
that joke.
I know you do. Let's go into some Leading the Raid.
Leading the raid.
Each and every show, we're joking around as the interview's going on. Now we're back. We each and every show, when we can, we take a look into leadership issues for raid leaders everywhere. This week, we take a look at a listener question, and it's kind of a long one. Colt, can you help me out here?
Sure. It says,
All
Hi, CTR crew. I've been a raid leader and a main tank for several years now and have been mostly successful at it. We have encountered a problem on the raid team. Our team, which has done heroic progression in previous tiers, can't get past Horadon on normal. We wipe endlessly for hours. We raid 3 nights a week for about 3 hours a night and spend most of that time getting very intimate with the dirt on the floor of TOT. People can't seem to follow directions, show up on time, or consistently not stand in the poo. I'm so frustrated at this point that I've sent out a letter to the raiders basically saying, I'm not directing this to anyone in particular, but pick up the performance or else.
Ooh.
I'm to the point of also considering giving the guild leadership over to my co-GM, an assistant raid leader, and going freelance or switching servers, but I worry that another raid leader guildmaster jumping ship in such a short period of time will devastate the guild and the raid team, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Another one of the problems is that we're on a low population server. I know Connected Realms are coming soon, trademark, so I should wait it out and stay Guildmaster Raid Leader and hope things work out once that gets implemented, since we'll finally have a much larger pool to draw from for raiders, or should I consider actually relocating my characters to another more raid-friendly realm? If only the CTR guild was Horde, I would have made the move long ago and this wouldn't be a problem, but alas, you're all dirty alliance. Thank you in advance for hopefully answering my question and your time, and I apologize for the wall of text that you just got. Love the show. Loktar Ogar and for the Horde.
All right, so we have a raid leader / guild leader that is kind of fed up with the performance of his team. Problems are low pop realm, really low pop, it sounds like, and the performance is just not there. Darius, what kind of advice can you give this fine man or woman?
So there's a couple points I want to bring up here. The first is, I don't want to say it's your fault, but as a raid leader, maybe it is. You know, maybe the strat is wrong. Maybe something like that. Maybe, maybe people need to be put in different roles than they really are right now. Something you can look at there. One of the other things you can try, though, is if you've got people that are constantly underperforming, not following directions, not showing up, something like that, sit them. Bring someone else in, even if it's a pug. Show them that you are serious and you do want to kill this boss. And if they can't do what they're supposed to do, then they shouldn't be there. And then when you kill that boss and they've sat out, they're going to take a look at themselves and say, okay, I think I need to step it up.
The problem with that, though, is the low pop server thing. And it sounds like I had to actually pare this letter down quite a bit. And it sounds like it's a really low pop server where there's not much interest in raiding in general. And so one of the things, if you want to go down that road, I would suggest lining up other raiders to take their place all the time. You know what I mean? Have a bench. Have a bench. Try to create a bench over time, and then that way you can say, we're bringing you in because so and so's not here, or we're sitting so and so because they're not performing right. So now you're in, and we're just going to have you in.
It sounds like the raiders are becoming complacent, and that can happen when there's no consequences, when they know they can do whatever they want,
right?
And they're still going to get to raid. And yeah, wiping for 9 hours a week on Horadon is really frustrating. But you know, if they don't care about, you know, if they know they're going to raid every week and continue to do that, then you don't have much recourse. So find something there to motivate them, really.
If you're dealing with people that are not necessarily the most competitive in the world, you know, where they really want to push themselves, you need to have consequences to be able to back that up somehow and say, no, you're gonna be competitive, otherwise you're gonna be out.
The other side is incentivize them. You know, find something, even if it's silly, some non-combat pet or something like that, and say, you know, the person that takes the least amount of damage does the most damage or whatever, they get this at the end of the night. Incentivize them, make people want to play better than they really are, or they are at that moment. You know, if you can't find people to replace them, go the opposite route. People work very well when you give them an incentive.
Sure. Coltrane, what are your thoughts here?
Well, it's interesting because I actually kind of feel for this guy. I mean, you know, when I first read this, I'm not directed this email he sent or else, I'm like, whoa, buddy, you know. But what I do like about this guy is that he's actually considering, like, he doesn't want to leave the raid. He cares for this raid team. He's worried that if he transfers, it's going to devastate the team. Everything's going to fall to pieces, and that's not what he wants. So he does care about this team. He does want to succeed as a team.
Right.
He's just frustrated. Like, when I first read this, I'm like, oh, maybe he's like, I'm better than everyone and I'm going to leave. But he's really not. He cares about these guys. He wants his team to succeed. He's just getting really frustrated.
Yep.
So I think, you know, in this situation, I think you're right. Maybe try and have some kind of consequence. I started to think to myself, well, maybe this is just maybe he's more hardcore and maybe the team itself is way more casual and laid back. But 3 hours a night, you know, 3 nights a week, that's
That's some serious time.
That's a lot of time. That's a decent amount of time. And to be stuck on the second boss, like Darius was saying, for 9 hours, that's rough, man.
Yeah, that's really tough. And I think that you need to go and look at, I mean, seriously, for Horadon, it's not an easy boss on normal mode, on any mode. It doesn't really matter. Because if at any one of those doors you start screwing up, you start going downhill real quick. Especially the second door with all the poison. I mean, geez, how many times did we screw up on that before we finally got it and we're like, oh yeah, we need to interrupt all the big guys so that they don't get that poison out, so that we don't have to dispel it, you know, so that we don't have to have 1 or 2 people dispel this thing and use up all their mana so that they have no heals.
Right.
You know, that's kind of the way that it goes. And so I think you also need to look at your strats again.
Yeah.
And make sure that everybody is talking. I don't know if it sounds like everybody's talking here. And one of the problems may be that once you start getting beaten down like that, you start shutting down. And you need to make sure that as a raid leader and as a GM, you need to make sure that your community, your own community, is actually communicating. So make sure that you're talking. Make sure that you're trying to figure it out, even though you've tried to figure it out 1,000 times before. Start calling people out. Start saying, you know what? You did it. You stepped in the bad stuff, and now you're dead. And don't do that anymore. Start making it. You don't have to be mean about it. You just can be matter of fact about it. I know, Darius, you have a tendency to do this in raids.
What?
Call people out. Make people feel responsible for their actions.
Yeah, I honestly think it's the best way to raid. Make sure people know that their actions have consequences, positive and negative. Let them know. Let them know when they're doing a bad job. Let them know. Of course,
you mainly do the negative side, but
yeah, I like making people cry. That's pretty much it.
Here's another idea.
Yeah.
Here's another idea. In regards to this, your other 9 guys, or however many on your team, they're not mindless drones either.
Right.
So let them speak. Maybe, let's say one guy's got a certain job where he's supposed to hit that mind control orb when that thing drops. Well, maybe he's melee, or maybe he's ranged and he's having a tough time doing it. Yep. Like, maybe sit down with your guys, engage all of them and say, okay, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? We're having trouble with this. Why? So-and-so, you're not clicking on the orb. Why is that? Oh, well, it's because I'm always way to the left, so I can't get over to the orb in time. Okay, well, then maybe from now on, DPS more on the right side, or that's a bad example, but I'm just saying that talk to your raiders, let them tell you also what's wrong.
Right.
And that will lead to changing strats, because that could be a thing. If you're doing the same strat for 9 hours a night and everyone's quiet and then it's just wipe, that's awful. That's a terrible situation.
Something that I do with my team quite frequently when we wipe, I ask everybody, I say, what can we be doing better here? Just everybody, give me something. And you always have those 2 or 3 people that always speak up. They always have some input, but I will call people out that aren't those people. I'll say, whoever, Jules, what are you seeing? What can we be doing differently here? Because it's obviously not working. Get elicit feedback from your raiders. They know.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I know on Horden, some people were using their interrupt on the Dino Mender, right? So everybody was interrupting the Dino Mender, but then there were no interrupts available for the poison guys on the second door.
Right.
So it was like, no, okay, this one guy is the Dino Mender interrupter, and these 2 people are going to interrupt the poison guys. The first one that drops, you're interrupting that one. The second one that drops, you're going to interrupt that one.
Yep.
That's like key to communication. Then they don't hit the poison bolt volley, and everybody lives, and everyone's happy.
Right.
So communicate.
Yep. Making it through door number 2 is the biggest problem in the world sometimes.
Well, number 2 usually is the biggest problem.
Number two is the biggest problem.
It's Paul. Yeah.
There we go. All right. I think that we've covered most of that. Of course, if any of you guys have other suggestions, you can always let us know about that stuff. But let's get to the old Q&A.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have a question about anything for us about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can always email us at converttoraid@gmail.com or call our raid line at 612-787-RAID. Or you can join us during one of the live shows. PM one of the guys. We'll see if we can answer it on the show. Darius, can you take this first one, please?
So this is from Kevon from Zul'jin Horde. He says, my question concerns the upcoming and long-awaited new character models. Once the new models are introduced, people may not like their character race, but like another instead. Should Blizzard offer a free race change upon implementation? And if you guys don't like your main's new models, which race would you consider? Thanks, you guys, and keep up the good work, Darius.
All right. There we go. He didn't call you out specifically, did he?
Oh, I mean, that's usually what I see.
It starts with all hail Darius.
It does.
King of all.
All right. So, Colt, now you're back to human. So now if they didn't have a good human model,
which dance, baby.
Which models might you consider?
Well, I don't know. I'm still gonna.
Or do you think that they should have a free race change upon implementation of this thing?
I think that's actually, I don't think they're going to do it. I think that's a nice idea. I don't think they're going to do it, though. But it is a nice idea. Maybe there's an option where you can choose the new look for your character or keep the old look. Maybe there's an option there. Maybe you look like your old look, but everyone else sees the new look. You know what I mean?
Oh, weird.
Is that weird?
That's a little weird for me.
Is that weird for you?
I really like how your character looks. Well, it's the same dopey, cartoony thing that it was before. What are you talking about?
Right. But, so if they had an option like that, that might be good. I think realistically what's going to happen is you're going to log in and your character is going to be different. It's going to be this new race, this new look, especially when Blizzard's putting in so much time to try and make it different but similar. Right. I think that's how it's going to be. I don't think that they're going to implement a race change. I think it'd be great if they did. It'd be a nice thing for players. But, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people, sometimes they choose their race for the look. Sometimes they choose it for the racials. Yeah, exactly. I went Worgen on my mage because of the crit, because I thought I was going to be fire. And then after a while, I'm like, wait a minute, don't have enough crit. I'm going to go back to human. So there's different reasons why people do it. But I think people are going to log in. They're going to have their same character model and they're going to stay their current race, personally.
Yeah.
What do you think, Darius, there?
No, I think it's all about the buffs. I mean, aside from the login screen, I don't really look at my character very often.
Right.
I'm
just the back
looking
of the
at
head.
everything else. Yeah. So it's all about the racial that you get and the extra buffs and whatnot. And those aren't going to change when they make new models. So I don't think they'll do a free race change or anything like that.
No, I can't see that either. But it would be nice if they did. I mean, I don't know exactly how they're going to roll it out, but my guess is that it would just pop up with, hey, you can change your character.
If they did that, because I mean the plan is least what they're hinting at is they were going to roll out, one or two at a time.
Right.
And if they were to offer free race changes, you'd see everybody go, Worgen, everybody go human
Right.
for that
That's
week.
true.
And then the next week, everybody goes orc, or whatever.
Yep.
That's a good point, actually.
Yep. That is. Let's go to the next question. Coltrane, help us out.
This is from Stumpy Monk.
Mm-hmm.
What effect, if any, do you think that cross realms and connected servers will have on realm firsts and server firsts?
So we're talking about connected realms here, and it was known as virtual realms before, where they're going to be combining servers, low pop servers mostly, and trying to build up those low pop servers a little bit. So, Darius, do you know the answer to this?
They're going to get rid of server first.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I think
they kind of are.
No.
there'll always be a server first heroic, Lei Shen, heroic Raden, whatever. But I think it'll be your connected realms server first. If Airy Peak and Dawnbringer were to combine, it would be the Airy Dawn server first or whatever. Whatever they call the connected realm.
Right. And I thought that they were actually going to be diminishing those quite a bit, server first and realm first, just in general. And I don't know exactly which ones are going to be going away, and I don't know if they really know either. But my understanding was that they are going to be going away from server first as far as a lot of the, like level 90 or, whatever it is. So I don't know. Colt, did you hear anything different?
No.
Thank you, Darius.
I mean, it's an interesting point. When I first read this, the first thought that came to mind was like teams. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's going to be more people. But like server first, realm first, people are going to have established teams. So they're still going to get that stuff. So that won't affect the teams themselves because that's going to be a hardcore team that's going to be going for that server first for that hardcore person. But yeah, I think this is more about like the server name. Like, let's say, for low pop realm merges into a medium pop on, let's say, Airy Peak. And now Airy Peak is that big server. Is it the Airy Peak server first, or is it the other one? Is it a combo of both? I mean, it's a good question.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of one of those things because you'll be able to group up with everybody.
But they are essentially like the same. Like BM Jagger was just saying, the connected realms are essentially the same server.
Essentially.
Yeah, your server first achievement doesn't say Airy Peak server first. It just says server first. And if you're connected and your guilds are the same and you're raiding from people from both servers, it's one big server. So the server first is the same thing. It's not going to change.
Right. So I think that's with that we're going to call the show. I mean, we had that big juicy interview.
Juicy.
It was good.
Lots of great information, actually.
Covered in juice. All right, I get excited. I'm sorry.
He likes the juice.
I'm a happy guy. What
likes
can
the
I
juice.
say?
He likes
Life
the juice.
Is good.
We should never let him go on vacation again because when he comes back,
That's right.
from the moment he opens his mouth, it's just downhill.
Listen, guys, here's how life works. You need to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? Huh? You see a little insight there. Think about it.
Wow.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Wow. That is
little mind bullets coming at you. Blam, blam.
Mage Genius.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. But before we do, we've got some 5 stars.
On that note.
And Darius' favorite music again. We're getting a lot of play out of that this time around.
People,
all right.
I meant it as a metaphor, not as some type of other reference. It's a metaphor for life, not what you think it is, chat room.
Oh, man. All right, so Darius, help us out here. Let's get away from this juice thing. And let's talk about some 5 stars. Who do we have to thank this week?
We got 2 this week. We've got Krista9, I think it is, and then we've got Brujin.
All right. Awesome. That's awesome. Any shout outs this week at all?
I have a shout out.
Shout out
to Piercy, Piercy, on Colteras for giving me that excellent fortune cookie at the top of the show.
Right.
I forgot
a way to
shout
ban
out.
people from listening to the show.
No.
Individually.
And if you have any fortune cookies, send them to coltranectr@gmail.com. KOLTRANECTR@gmail.com.
You don't have to do that, people.
Yes, you do.
You
Let's
do
bring
not
down
have
Doug
to do
together.
that at all.
We can do it.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people that helped me gear my shaman. Dead Greed, Zykai, who we all know from the iTunes project. He's kind of the guy that started it a little bit. And I know that there were others, and I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning you, but thank you guys for helping me along the way. I know that people were crafting things for me, and it was very nice. It was just very sweet. It was very sweet. But
I have one more shout out.
oh, what one? Go ahead.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
I was in an LFR on my monk. I won't say his name.
Okay.
And Karos, Karros from Area 52, he actually whispered me in the LFR and said he loves the show, he's learned a lot, and that he would never miss it.
Wow.
So shout out to Karos from Area 52. He messaged my monk Waku.
Oh, wait. You said.
Oh, he said it.
Oh, hold on.
said it.
Hold on. You said it.
Do it!
Wafu!
Yeah!
Oh, very sad. Very sad. All right, I got to bail out of this music.
You gotta
Ah,
bail out.
I just got to
Favorite.
bail out. I got to bail out. I'm going to hit this one. There we go.
when the show's not on, I play that music throughout my house all day long.
Of course
Just
you do.
clean.
Of course
and
you do.
vacuum really fastly.
All right. We cannot do this show without you guys. Thank you so much for time. Thank you so much for taking the time. Let me gather my thoughts and then speak. Thank you for rating us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the questions. And please join in on all the conversations we're having at any time if I can actually speak. All right, you can email us at converttораid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid, or individually, isn't that right, Coltrane?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. You can follow Darius at Bored Mind, and you can follow Domo at Domo.
Oh,
Yeah!
oh boy. What the hell happened to this show? Way to go, chat room. I saw it in the chat room. I saw what was going on.
Domo Inc. That's what I typed.
Domo Inc. There's
Incoming Domo.
That's right. So if you can't spell our names or whatever, you can always join the Bazubuguabo Nation by signing up over at converttораid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, tons of links for raiders, and so much more. That's all over at converttораid.com. Our show is available on Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iTunes, all sorts of other places. Just look for it by name, Convert to Raid. That's right. Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends, please do, at the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. Lots of great shows over there, by the way, guys. Gray Area podcast, all about different video game stuff. Torrent Think Tank. We've got Johnny Feisty over there.
Johnny Feisty.
Mm-hmm. We've got Revan Geek. That's for sure. Woo! So go check out all those shows, please do. That's going to be it for this show. We hope you had a good time, and thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week from PAX. Hopefully.
PAX, baby.
Hopefully we won't have any technical issues as we
if
go
I
to
allow
PAX.
you to record a show,
So-
you might be busy then. You know, I might be ordering you around.
You might be ordering me around. Yeah, that's right. But we're going to try to do that next week, next Sunday for the live show. We're still going to try to do a live show. That'd be 9 a.m. Pacific. I have to go over to Pacific time because that's where PAX is in
Yes.
Seattle.
That's good. Oh man, I gotta get to the dentist, guys, because I gotta have him shave off this fang.
Oh,
That's it.
crap.
I'm done.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now
It's for the chat room.
I've really got to get out of here. I
They're
gotta
my
go.
people.
We gotta go. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time, 9 a.m. Pacific again. And for all the guys that convert to raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. That was horrible. That's horrible.